Welcome to Danswers Live. How exciting is this, huh? We got our we got our camera set up. We got a little graphic here. We got a little graphic here to show the questions that were asked for dancers, and as you can see, they're very good. We got some good questions. I'm going to drop this out for a second. Just to give a little introduction, Dancers is the podcast I do. I'm going to post this in audio form after we do the stream. It's Christmas. If you're with your families, why are you watching this? Please find them, hold them close, rip them away from their iPads. If you find it difficult to rip them away from their iPads, find a crowbar or any crowing mechanism. Crowing mechanism. What I'm saying is, take your children away from the iPads just for a moment. Turn off my live stream. Put it on mute. Hey, I need the viewers, all right? But put it on mute. Enjoy the holidays. I'm glad you've joined me. We got some really good questions here on Dancers. You can add something to the chat if you would enjoy to do so. And we're going to get started here with the first question. I'm going to bring it up right there. That's the first question. How do I tell my family my boyfriend is in prison? Now, this is a very common question, right? It's a question that gets asked every holiday season. I mean, who are you if you've never had to ask yourself the question, how do I tell my family my boyfriend is in prison? It's a question as old as time. I won't ask any details about why your boyfriend is in prison. I'm sure it's something white collar and professional, like tax fraud or stealing a granny's walker, right? That's probably why your boyfriend is in prison. Probably he's in prison for stopping a bus full of children from careening off of a cliff, and while doing that, damaged the bus, which is a felony. That is perhaps why your boyfriend is in prison, right? So, you need to tell your parents your boyfriend is in prison. Okay, well, first off, you want to really ease into it, right? You want to kind of go, Mom, Dad, I got a surprise. And they're like, where's Jeffrey? And you're like, hold up. Let's not rush the introduction here. I have a surprise. And they're like, wait, are you and Jeffrey getting married? And you have to be like, no. And they're going to be like, okay, well, that's disappointing. They're like, oh my God, you and Jeffrey are finally getting married. And you're like, far from it. Far from it, actually. And they're like, oh, well, that's too bad. No, how do you tell your parents that your boyfriend is in prison? Well, feel it out. That's what I'll say. I'll say feel it out first. You know, if your boyfriend's in prison, you have to tell your parents. You want to it's like getting into a hot pool, right? These kinds of questions are like dipping your toe in a hot pool. You don't want a hot tub. You know those piping hot pools everyone has in California. No, it's like dipping your foot into a hot tub, right? You don't want to rush into the hot tub. You want to kind of just feel your way. Just start a conversation with the parents and go, hey, you know how the prison system is just so messed up? And maybe your parents will go, yeah, we've been reading about that on the news, how bad the prison system is. And like, yeah, and you know, these laws don't even really make sense. And maybe your parents will go, yeah, the laws don't make sense. You're like, yeah. So you know how Jeffrey isn't here? And they're like, yeah, we thought you guys were getting married and you haven't brought it up. That's how you you got to tiptoe your way into. So then by the time that you're telling them, hey, my boyfriend is in prison, you worked him up. You got him riled up. You'll be like, my boyfriend is in prison. They'll be like, that's BS. This damn system. Then you're bonding. You're bonding with your family. And that's a beautiful thing because that's what Christmas is all about. But that's a great question. So we're gonna go to the next slide. Oh, that's quite a question. One of our YouTube viewers said, "How do I not the kids say unalive myself during family reunions?" Just know that if you do that, you're just going to be a top talking point for the family, right? So don't give that to them. That's what I'll say. I think it's good to have something to live against. I think it's good to have something to live in spite of, and that's what you should do. Live in spite of your family, not for them, in spite of them. Great question. Oh, this is a fun question. Look at that. What's the best way, other way? What's the best way to ruin my life? Well, first, almost going off of the question that was just asked, I say don't ruin your life. I don't believe in this in this cool negativity that people are into. I say life is precious and you should, not ruin your life. But a question was asked and I must answer, right? Also, let me know how the stream is going. I have no idea on your end. Okay. So, how do I best ruin my life? I would say ruin your life in a way that leads to good stories, right? Because here's the thing, your life can get pretty bad, but if you got good stories, people are gonna respect you. People are gonna, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna ruin your life, which I say don't ruin your life, but it it works out because here's the thing about growing up, which I haven't completely yet, but I'm almost there, right? Here's the thing about growing up is you meet so many people who have ruined their lives, right? That's one of the beauties of growing up is if you pay attention, if you focus, you will realize that so many of the people you meet have ruined their lives. And those people, the ones that I really like, the ones that I really respect, did it in a way where they have good stories, right? Now there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. You can meet interesting people. You can do, nefarious, not too nefarious. You don't want to go too far. You want to still be likable, obviously, right? That's the main goal. But get into competitive combat parasailing, right? Because if you do that, people will go, well, what? Competitive combat parasailing? What's that? You've started a dialogue, right? Sure, you've only got one shoe on, but you've started a dialogue. Now someone's intrigued. Now someone's interested in you, right? I'm from a place, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. There's a lot of people there who I will say this, have been ravaged by time. Time has ravaged these people, right? It's a place where you will literally just see people hanging out at the docks. And the thing is, people might talk down on that and be like, "Oh, the losers, whatever." No. Those are the people you want to talk to. Those are cool people, okay? So, I'll say if you're going to ruin your life, which I say you shouldn't do that. I say you should live a life of worth and consequence. But if you are going to, do it in a way that's interesting and that you get good stories out of. That's my answer there. A little bit of silliness, a little bit of genuine there. We're going to go to the next question. What's the funniest way to end a relationship? Now, there's an easy way to answer this question, which I won't do, which is like, tell her you're breaking up while wearing a full clown outfit, right? Tell him you want to break up with him while you're dressed as Mike Sully from Monsters, Inc., right? Those are funny ways to break up with someone. But I won't do that. That's the easy way out. I think the funniest way to end a relationship is probably through... Oh, that's really... Okay, so here's the funniest way to end a relationship. You don't want to go big, right? Because going big, going too much, that's not fun. That's not good. A lot of the times that can have the opposite effect where it's very not funny. Here's what you do. Every time you say thank you, or you want to say thank you, say thank you. THAMPQUE. Is it hard to say? Absolutely. So try it every time. Thank you. Because at first, that's not going to be a big deal. At first, your partner's going to be like, oh, that's a... But you never stop. You never... I mean, so you start, you're hanging out at your partner's place, and they give you a drink. They give you a drink of water, and you go, oh, thank you. And they go, you're welcome, right? That's how it starts. 4 weeks later, you've only been saying that. You've only been saying THAMPQUE. You're out with friends. You're out with her friends. And you go to a nice restaurant. One of her friends picks up the bill and you go, oh my God, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. And your girlfriend goes, hey, excuse me. They just did something nice. I mean, I get that you're trying to do a joke here, but we're 4 months later, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever you were seeing at the time, has lost their mind. Their hair is disheveled. They haven't slept in days, and they're going, listen, it's not a big deal for any reason other than the fact that you won't stop. It's not a big deal other than the reason, because at the end of the day, the reason why your partner will have broken up with you isn't because you cheated, right? Isn't because you kicked a dog. It's because you wouldn't stop saying thank you. And that's funny. That's a funny way to end a relationship. Don't do that. Now to the people watching out there, which there are 3, maybe 4, please don't actually do that. But the question was asked, and I have to answer. Great question. Next question. Dan. Oh, I like the way that started. Dan. How do you suggest getting over a slump? Life has been blah. Tough question. Let me answer it by rephrasing it. I don't think you get over... Stay with me. I don't think you get over slumps. I think you get through slumps. By that I mean getting over a slump sort of puts this connotation on a slump that's like, oh, if I'm in a slump, I need to do, like, which maybe it is a sign that you need to do something, right? But it's like, I gotta change something huge in my life to get over it. Where really, a lot of the times, slumps just happen. They've happened to me. I've had slumps so bad, I'm like, I want to stop doing everything that I've done. And it's so funny when you have fantasies about like letting your life kind of blow up and doing something different. They always involve you having a skill set that you don't have. Like whenever anyone's like, yeah, I just want to quit it all and become a lumberjack. It's like, oh, really? Steven, who works next to me in my cubicle, you're going to be a lumberjack? You're going to be a lumberjack, Steven. You complain about the coffee every single morning. You complain about the office not having enough creamer every morning, and you're going to be a lumberjack. Interesting. And a similar one is not to be too harsh, but a lot of times women will be like, oh yeah, I'm going to quit everything and become a stripper. It's like, oh really? You're going to become, not to say not every, there's certain women that certainly could quit their jobs and become strippers. But some of the people who say that don't got the skills, okay? And they should keep on keeping on what they're doing. It's also kind of insulting, I'm sure, to strippers. When someone's like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job and become one of you out of, like, whatever, desperation. And it's like, listen, it's a fucking skill set, okay? It's a skill set. I'm not getting on a soapbox here, but that's tough. It's difficult to do. It's like me being like, man, one of these days I'm going to quit comedy and become a coder, become a computer engineer. It's like, oh, you're just going to become that? Anyway, that's an aside. How do you get over a slump? Great question. You don't get over a slump, you get through a slump. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times when we feel bad or upset or uncomfortable, our initial reaction, and this is due to our upbringing and the way things have been presented to us our whole lives. But we're basically kind of told if something is bad, you need to fix it now. If you feel uncomfortable, you gotta go. Like whatever. Go to the doctor. Go to da da da. That's not a bad thing overall. Like, go to the doctor. Absolutely. If you feel like you're in a slump, take that boxing lesson. But also understand that slumps are like just a part of life. And sometimes you just have to go through them. Sometimes you just have to experience them and just be there for them. And maybe not like immediately pull the parachute and be like, I got to take 48 crocheting classes or my life is meaningless. It's not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? Oh, someone in the chat just said, I'm 54 taking pole dancing classes. I don't think it's reasonable to think I can use my new skill set in retirement. You don't think it's reasonable to think, well, Kim, don't count yourself out. I think that you got a shot just like everybody. I don't like how people are like, oh, I'm going to quit and do this like easy thing. It's like, it ain't easy. All right. I'll tell you that much. And Kim, I'm sure you know this firsthand by taking the classes. It ain't easy. Maybe to get out of your slump, you need to take a pole dancing class, all right? I was going to take a pole dancing class. The plans fell through. But I was excited to show off my core strength. And then I saw a video and I was like, oh no, I can't do any of that. What am I talking about? Oh, interesting question. What helped you the most in your career? I'm assuming you're talking about stand-up and videos and whatever the heck this is. What's helped me the most? It's a skill that's not really seen as a skill, but I think it is. I think for the most part, things can get pretty bad in my life, and I don't necessarily freak out or have to change my course of direction, And I think that's very helpful. There's a lot of difficult parts of anyone's career where you're immediately like, oh, I have to find something new. And maybe that's because you don't have passion for what you're doing, in which case you definitely should get out of it. But I guess what's helped me most is just sort of understanding the level of how awful things can be when you're trying to do something. I won't even say especially something quote unquote creative. I think everything is creative in its own way. I think everyone has troubles and struggles in whatever they're doing. So it's like, this definitely isn't an isolated thing. But just, I guess what's helped the most with comedy specifically, which is just something that like, you will just feel like you're bad at it for months and like will want to quit for months and things won't get better. And you just have to kind of like grind through that. You gotta rise and grind through. Ugh, what am I saying? What was all of that? Why did I say all of that? That was so disgusting. What helped me the most in my career? My damn mullet and mustache. That, if I'm being honest, that's probably helped more than whatever the hell I was saying back there. Probably my mullet, and then number 2 is my mustache. Coming in a close second is my mustache, which I will have to shave in a couple weeks because I'm going to be in a friend's music video, and I'm sad about that. And I feel like I'll lose some power with that. Let's see what the next question is. My ex dumped me and wants to get back together a year later. Thoughts/opinions. Okay. So I like answering questions like this because it's hard answering questions like this because I don't have any context, right? I have zero context to this person. So this person, this could be like a really bad relationship they're getting back into. It could be a really good relationship they're getting back into. I don't know. So I'm going off of generalities here. So just understand that. Understand that this is first and foremost a comedy podcast, right? My ex dumped me and wants to get back together a year later. Thoughts/opinions. God, it can be fun sometimes, right? Getting back together with someone you've been broken up with. If only just because you have to slowly realize what they've been up to for a year, right? Like you get back up to like it, and it could be small things. It could be like, oh, you say bruh now, huh? You say BRUH. Very interesting. That's new. That's a new thing for you. Or it can be something as big as, when did you start doing that in bed? That's interesting. And you're just having this thought in your own head, right? You're not gonna put that on the other person, obviously. But something will happen. I don't want to get into too much detail, but something will happen in bed, and you go, wow, someone's been practice. Someone's been at practice. Someone's been drilling. You know what I mean? But oh, you've gotten into petty crime. Interesting. This didn't used to be a thing, and now you've in front of my own eyes committed strong arm robbery against a woman on the street. Interesting. Oh, Kim just said, I broke with my boyfriend and we got back together a year later. Then we got married. We've been married 30 years. Advice from my husband, ... run. Just kidding. Oh, Kim. Look at you. Just as witty as the day you and him met. Yeah, I think it can go good. I think it can go really bad. Boy. I think it could be one of two things. I think you could get back together and go, wow, the reason we broke up was trivial and we just needed time apart and space to eventually come together and reconnect. Or you could get back together, and this one's happened to me, and you go, oh, right, that's why we broke up. Because our brain is really good at filtering out bad things and filtering in good things a lot of the time in memory. It can do the opposite, but with relationships, I find it to mostly be that one. Filters out the bad, filters in the good, or however you want to put that. And yeah, you can get back together with someone after being broken up with and really get a flood of memory of like, oh, why did I block that out? Why did I forget you slapped me in my sleep? I don't know where that memory went, but boy, it's coming back quickly in the form of your face or your hand hitting my face. But that's my piece of advice on that one. I say could be bad, could be good. If you're single right now and you're just kind of, figuring it out, why not? Why not? Great question. And that's the last question. This was fun. I hope we enjoyed this. I'm gonna keep doing more if people enjoy it. I'll stop doing it immediately if anyone gives absolutely any criticism of this. And I want to know. I want to let the haters know something real quick. Okay, before I sign off. This is a quick message to the haters. I'm listening to everything you're saying, and it is hurting my feelings. Okay. Now a lot of people will talk about naysayers, talk about negativity in this light of, you can't affect me, you can't get in my head. You can get in my head. Oh, my head is an open door. My head is one of those double saloon doors that just kind of opens and closes to any rustler or cattle wrangler this side of the Okeechobee. Okay? So just know, if you say anything negative about this stream, I will never ever do it again. And you will have won. All right? All right? Because I know that's not what you want. I know when people say something negative in a chat or to a live stream, what they would hate to happen is for everything that they say to be justified and corroborated, and for the person that they're saying it to be deeply affected by it. I know that's not what you want. All right? So keep that in mind. This has been a really wonderful Christmas broadcast. I really appreciate everybody who joined, and please, keep joining and ask some questions. I usually you can ask them in the chat. I take them from many different sources. So